was pretty surprised as far as my first impressions go. Now, you might be curious, how were you surprised? Do you really think the patch is better than everyone was saying it was? Because if everyone was saying the patch was terrible, and then you played it and were surprised, surely that means the patch was actually not as bad as everyone's making it sound. And that would be a fair assumption, but you'd be wrong. It was far worse than I was expecting, which blows my mind because everything was negative. All the reviews were negative. The patch notes themselves were negative. The outlash was unprecedented. And still somehow I was surprised at how bad Season 3 is. Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We got a couple words. Why don't you kick it off, Tanner?
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. We are live. Boys and girls, welcome to the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast, episode number 319. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I'm joined by young Tanner, Dropshot.
Hey.
Is it time to switch out the ear cups yet? Because I've been sick of them since you bought them.
No.
Because you got aftermarket ear cups, and then you got another pair of aftermarket ear cups, right?
No. What do you mean?
Oh, okay. Have you smelled those ear cups yet recently?
Can't say that I have, no.
They're probably disgusting.
I mean, I shower,
like
so.
You should buy new ones, and
Why is there
they
like
should be black or white.
It's like a hair or something over the camera that I keep seeing, but I wiped it off. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Maybe it's above your eyelid, buddy.
It's weird.
You gotta clean out those eyeballs. Anyway,
whatever.
Welcome to the show. Today, we are doing an episode about Call of Duty. The agenda, the plan for this fine afternoon to be sullied is Season 3 first impressions. And before we get into that, normally we would have a few announcements. I don't think we have many. One I will say is we've been asking for support because the Dropshot is in a tumultuous time at this moment, and we've gotten quite a bit. So thanks to all of you who have contributed to that. We will go more in detail on that topic on Thursday, but we really do appreciate it. And we need more. Patreon.com/thedropshot. And speaking of Patreon, in fact, we did our monthly Damascus hangout last night, and we did some gunfight. Gunfight is a new game mode that was added in Season 3, which we'll get into. And that was originally in MW 2019. I think that was the first time that playlist was in a COD. I don't know, but either way, it's a fun game mode that I've always been a fan of since it came out. I'm on record saying that. You can go back in the archives. And in this game, we'll get into it, but we were hoping it was in customs so we could make a private lobby and do it, which we could. So originally we were going to do like a little 2v2 tournament, and then we didn't, I guess, because it got a little complicated. So then we all went into a lobby and like picked gunfight, and we all selected auto assign as our team. And we assumed it was going to have 4 people playing, and then it was going to force the rest of us to be spectators. However, instead, we were playing on a 2v2 gunfight map, 5v5, which was actually pretty fun. So we did a lot of gunfight last night. Then we played a little gun game, and then we just hung out and chatted, and it was a pretty jolly good time. Yeah, we did some swiping. We helped Tanner Plus with his Bumble matches, which was also pretty fun. He had a few questionable moments, but We won't be getting into that. Yeah, but it was a good time. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I was drinking some Scotch whiskey.
Some Scotch, huh?
Yeah, I've actually been enjoying this one. This is a real smoky Scotch. What's the popular one? Lagavulin? Lagavulin? How do you say it? Is it Lagava or Lavava?
I know what you're talking about, though.
Lagavulin. Lagavulin. Let's see how you pronounce this.
Lavaglin? I don't know.
Lagavulin, I think.
Lagavulin?
Lagavulin.
I've heard of that, though.
Anyways, yeah, I was drinking some of that. It was something a Seer had got me for Christmas. That's like the Nick Offerman Lagavulin, aged 12, 15 years. I don't know, but it's actually really good. Much better than the other Scotch I've had. So yeah, I was sipping on that. It was a good time. I had fun. Working on my scum base. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, trying to start that chainsaw. Yeah.
Finally got it started. Yeah, we got a second one now too. Gabe found a second one, so good for him.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, thanks.
That's good. Shout out to Gabe. Yeah, so that was fun. Anyway, so thanks to all the Damascus patrons for coming out. We'll do one again next month, as always. Other than that, as far as announcements, next week, I suspect we will have a fairly normal schedule in terms of the podcast. And Patreon bonus eps should start rolling out toward the end of next week, I would imagine. We do have some more Season 3 to play before we can really start recording those, much to my dismay. But we'll get into that right now. If you're listening for the jingle, here it is.
Damn, got me.
Fuck. Got him.
Damn, I wasn't ready for that.
Lagavulin.
Thank you, Jim, for the $750 donation, and thank you, Eric, for the $800 donation. Oh, wait, fuck you guys.
I was gonna say, damn, $800. That'd be cool. I'd be a big fan of that. All right, boys and girls, welcome. Episode 319. Today, Season 3 First Impressions. Okay, so our last episode, 318, we went over the patch notes for Season 3. And, to a perhaps larger extent, the discourse surrounding the patch notes from all the community. All the drama on the TL, all that shit. And when we did that episode, at that time, we had not played the game post-Season 3 yet. So we were only going through patch notes and what we were seeing on Twitter and the gameplay we had watched. We hadn't actually played ourselves. And as a result, I was pretty surprised as far as my first impressions go. Now, you might be curious, how were you surprised? Do you really think the patch is better than everyone was saying it was? Because if everyone was saying the patch was terrible, and then you played it and were surprised, surely that means the patch was actually not as bad as everyone's making it sound. And that would be a fair assumption, but you'd be fucking wrong. It was far worse than I was expecting, which blows my mind because everything was negative. All the reviews were negative. The patch notes themselves were negative. The outlash was unprecedented. And all of it was bad. And still somehow I was surprised at how bad Season 3 is. For reasons that are kind of obvious when you think about it. Basically, we're going to get into specifics, but broadly, here's what happened. There was so much wrong with this patch that the entire community as a whole couldn't fit it onto one app. They couldn't fit it all on Twitter. As a community, millions of Call of Duty players, they couldn't fit all the problems onto the app. They couldn't. 240 character limit times 5 million fucking COD players on Twitter. They couldn't fit all the problems onto the timeline. So there were so many things to complain about that some of them just went unspoken. And we had the distinct displeasure of experiencing those things ourselves, which we will be talking about today. I'm shocked at how bad this patch was, for all of the reasons you've already heard about, whether that is through Twitter or through our last episode, but for fun and exciting new ones too, which we're going to get into shortly here. So we have since played, and we played quite a bit actually, and we kind of ran the gamut. Played a little multiplayer, played the new maps, which I don't know if we've actually written that down. Let's see.
Not much to write down, but I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. We played Gunfight and Gun Game. We played Al Mazrah. We played Ashika Island. We played Massive Resurgence. So we really got the appetizer sampler, as it were. And it was all bad, pretty much. I mean, some of it was decent. We're going to get into it. But the degree to which anything was like decent or fun is only because it was very lightly, if at all, altered by this patch. This is just a classic Infinity Ward patch, at least in this sense, in that it introduces new bugs, worse performance, and doesn't add virtually anything substantial, fun, or interesting. So we get one bug fix, we get two new bugs that are worse, and then we get a bunch of new features that may or may not work that we don't care at all about. That is how I would summarize our experience. With that said, we have a lot of specifics we can and will be getting into here. So here's the outline. First topic, bugs and UI and other kind of general miscellaneous observations. The movement changes insofar as there were any. Guns/weapon balancing. So the new guns and, the weapon balance changes. Multiplayer and then Warzone. And we're going to start with what I had said first, bugs and utter dog shit. Tell us about the Battle Pass UI while I write down this thing I just remembered.
So you thought the UI was bad when Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2 launched. It's worse somehow, I think.
It's worse, yeah.
The Battle Pass UI, I thought I was just stupid. I know I'm stupid. I'm not the dumbest person out there, but I was like, dude, this UI is fucking confusing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to unlock the tiers. I kept getting errors when I was unlocking tiers because I didn't buy the Black Cell bundle, but instead I used my COD points that were gifted to me that I already have in my account to buy like 20 tier skips or something. Kept getting errors nonstop. It was a disaster. I would finish completing a zone. I would be so it looked like I should be able to do the zone next to it, and for some reason it wasn't letting me. I don't know. I thought I was just crazy. Then you complained about it. And then at the hangout last night, someone was like
3 minutes with 3 people helping me.
Yeah. Then at the hangout last night, someone's like, the new Battle Pass UI is so confusing. I was like, got it. So we're not crazy. The layout is terrible. It's awful. Maybe it's because I did the manual unlock thing. You could just do the automatic thing now where it'll go in a straight line, but I wanted to get to the 2 new guns first. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, how do you make it even worse than it already was?
It can't, and let me be clear. So I did the same thing as Tanner. It said, do you want to turn on auto tier unlock things? And I said, of course I don't. Because here's what would happen. The second to last sector would be the one with the new gun. And then the last sector would be the other one with the new gun. Yeah. That's how it would do it automatically. It would automatically path me to all the shit I want least first. And it would only get me to like the new content that I actually care about absolutely last. So I said, no, of course I don't trust you guys to do this. So I have to do it manually. And it took me, I'm not kidding, like 3 minutes. It's far more confusing than it used to be. And it already had previously been not great. Terrible. Awful. Yeah. Miserable. And yeah, it's really bad. And if you've played recently, then you already know what we're talking about. if you have auto tier skip on or whatever, which I do think is a cool feature, and I will turn that on as soon as I unlock both the new guns, then this doesn't matter because it does it automatically. So you don't even have to go into the fucking quagmire that is the dog shit awful UI for the new battle pass. But like buying tier skips with COD points, there's not even there's nothing on the screen that indicates how to do that. So I was at the battle pass map or whatever, and I screamed in Discord, how do I buy tier skips? Did they remove that feature? And then someone said, oh no, press R. So I press R, sure enough, it brings up a secret menu. It's like I'm playing a PlayStation 2 game, and I have a fucking, those guides, the Game Shark guide or whatever, that tells you secret things you can do that are not told to you by the game. Except back then it was by design. Here, maybe it is by design. I don't know. But there's literally, when I pressed R and it took me to a new menu to buy tier skips with COD points, on the preceding menu, nowhere, anywhere did it say press R to like buy tier skips or go to some other menu. I'm not like joking. It literally didn't say it anywhere, so I don't even know how they figured it out. It's astoundingly bad, far worse. And they had the audacity to tell you that they streamlined the battle pass. This is absurd.
Yeah.
It's a lie. It's a fabrication. Infinity Ward just goes on the internet and tells lies. That's actually what they do. So it's terrible and miserable. One thing I also want to say before we move on, kind of general point. I have not tried either of the new guns yet. I booted up the game, and it said, hey, do you want to buy the Black Cell Operator Bundle? It actually made my monitor bigger in real life so that it could take up even more advertisement space. Black Cell Operator Bundle, buy it. Shiny fucking lights flashing. And I said, no, pass.
Yeah, they were
I had to
pushing
find the 2x2 pixel sized X to get out of that menu. And then I used the COD points I had left to buy the battle pass without the tier skips or whatever.
That's what I bought.
Spent no money. Yeah. And then all the other COD points I had, again, after 3 minutes, I finally figured out how to do this. I bought a couple tier skips, started working towards the new guns, but I have neither of them yet. And I'm not spending money on this game anymore. This is the first time ever, I think, that I have not bought the battle pass bundle on principle. I'm not doing it. I refuse.
Yeah, same.
So,
I've always bought every season the tier skip bundle.
Yeah, I refuse, as should you guys. If you want. I mean, it's a video game, whatever. If you want the game to change, don't buy it. But if you have fun playing the game, then buy all your little dog shit. But anyway, yeah, on principle, I refuse. So normally, I would love to have used both of the new guns to do this episode. In fact, I could unironically, I could write it off as a business expense. But on principle, I'm not doing it. So sorry, we'll try the new guns eventually, but not now. I haven't done it. And normally I would have, but I didn't. So anyway.
Yeah. Next thing here. I saw this on Twitter before I logged on. I figured it was just a bug with someone. They changed a bunch of people's binds on keyboard and mouse. So I used to use my scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in and out of the map in game. Super easy. Just scroll
Intuitive,
the other way. Simple.
Yeah.
So for some reason now, those buttons have changed to 1 and 2 on my keyboard. So I'm not exaggerating. To zoom in enough on the map so that I can see what the contract icons are, because it's zoomed down, it doesn't show you anything.
Literally tested it.
I have to click the one button 14 times on my keyboard to zoom in enough to just show what the contracts are. Then if I want to zoom into an area more and look at something else, I have to click it another 15 times or so.
Right.
So Raz spent about 20 minutes trying to rebind his. The issue, I think, is linked to weapon swap. which
they've now linked it to previous and next weapon for no reason.
Yeah, and I purposely unbound that at the launch of Warzone 2, because often in gunfights and stuff, you'll accidentally tap your mouse scroll wheel, and it's just enough to swap guns easily, and then you're swapping guns in the middle of a gunfight, and you die, and you lose that gunfight, and you're raging. So I purposely unbound that, and now I guess there's just no other way around it. So I either have to bind back my scroll wheel to change my gun, and just lose gunfights all the time from me accidentally getting jump scared and then hitting my scroll wheel slightly and swapping guns, or I just have to press my 1 and 2 mouse buttons hundreds of times a match looking at the fucking map. So I don't know what is going on with this. I hope it's some sort of bug and they change it back, but no one plays on keyboard and mouse, so this will probably not get changed, and it's super fun to deal with.
Yeah, I don't know why they did this. I don't know if they did it on purpose. I suspect they didn't, but it is really annoying. Yeah.
Yep.
Couldn't believe it. And I don't have previous weapon bound at all. So I couldn't zoom in on my map.
Yeah.
I opened my map, and for the keybind to zoom in, it was just a bunch of question marks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's cool. So now I figured it was probably tied to some other bind, so I had to figure that out. And now I have a new keybind that I don't want, because I just want to be able to zoom in on my map. By the way, it doesn't tell you it's tied to previous weapon, because that was the first thing I searched. Oh, map zoom or whatever. Look through all the fucking keybinds. Doesn't say. Nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
how does that not have its own keybind?
I can't believe this game.
Yeah.
I really can't. So anyway, yeah, that's fun and exciting.
Yeah. Next thing up on the UI, the in-game UI. When Warzone 2 launched, I was like, okay. I think we said this early on. We're like, the in-game like UI and map and stuff sucks, but that's easy, and that'll probably be fixed like really soon. They've put zero time into it. I don't know what was wrong with any of the in-game Warzone 1 UI, but it was fine. So now it's awful. My loadout the loadout shows up on the map itself when I press M and pull up the map. I see my loadout drop icon. If I'm standing in the middle of a road and there is a loadout drop, a box, 10 feet in front of me, and I'm staring at that box, it will not be pinged that it's my loadout. You could literally run past your loadout and not even know that it's yours because you haven't pressed M to open the map. Hover my mouse over where the loadout is, press 1 about 25 times to zoom in enough to click on my loadout, press the M button again on my keyboard, so then it's marked in game when I'm looking at it. This was never a thing in Warzone 1. Why is it so bad now? I don't get it.
This is a particular problem on the island when like everyone's loadout is right next to each other. I've actually died because there's no icon in the overworld. Yeah,
exactly.
It's so ridiculous.
I run up to it all the time, and there will be like 3 of them there, and I don't know which one is mine. You have no clue. You have to get right up on it before it gives you like the grab loadout icon, and you don't know. It's literally a guessing game unless you open up your map and mark which one it is. I don't fucking get it. How hard is it? You had it in Warzone 1. Add it fucking back.
Yeah.
So
it's completely crazy.
Anyways, so that was awesome. Is that it for that one? Yes. Oh, and then on top of that with the UI, this is the first time I've experienced this one. I got a fake loadout drop marker on my screen. I'm not kidding. So we were playing Resurgence Moz. I died. It was going terribly. I died. I spawned back in. I was yelling about it when we were playing. It was right before I rage quit. And you guys were at Hydro. And like way to the southeast outside of Hydro, on my screen, not on my map. I didn't even pull up my map because like I'm floating down and I'm looking at things. And I see loadout drop. I was like, oh, there's a loadout drop over there? Okay. And it was blue, which is supposed to be your loadout drop that you received. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So I start floating over there, and I'm looking, and I'm like, did it fall under the map? It must have fallen under the map. I don't see it, because that's been a bug since Warzone 2 launch, and that's still in the game. So I'm looking around, I don't see it floating there. I press M and pull up my map. There's no loadout drop on my screen over there. Nowhere. It's not to be found. So I fall down, and I die. Someone kills me. I'm like, okay, cool. So that was a fake loadout drop. And then I'm yelling about it. I'm like, dude, they gave me a fake loadout drop. I load back in. I start floating down. Again, it shows me there is a loadout drop, a completely other area of the map. Like we were like on the northern end of Hydro, where that gas station is at Hydro on the northeast side. It was east of that. I start looking and floating over there. There is no loadout drop there. And as I'm coming down to the ground, I'm noticing something looks weird with my screen. Something looks weird with my screen, right? I hit the ground and I have the field of view bug. I'm stuck in 70 field of view. Oh. You just can't make it up. You cannot make it up.
Yeah.
It's just the game fucking sucks. How are there this many bugs with the game? I don't get it. But again, it's the exec's fault. They don't want the game to be good. They want people to complain. They want it to be bad. The devs are worked to death. What do you expect them to do? They're doing their best. Fuck you. It's just, I mean, I literally backed out. I said, I'm fucking done with this game. We had played 1.5 games of Resurgence, and I said, see you guys. And I left the lobby. I exited out of the game because I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. What is going on? So you guys played for a little bit longer, and then later ended up hopping on Ashika, and I was like, okay, I'll hop back on for that. And then I did. But
yeah,
I mean, it was just like 3 in a row. Bug, bug, bug. I just can't fucking believe it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I've played alphas before. I've played a ton of betas, as most of us have. I've played closed betas, which are less polished. And I don't think I've ever seen a buggier... No. Well, I'm not sure I've ever seen a buggier game than Warzone, like, at this moment.
That doesn't have the beta tag on it. Because a lot of games do that. They do the beta shit. Tarkov's been in beta for 5 years. Scum's been in beta for 4 years. But this is supposed to be a fully released game. You're right. Well, Ubisoft games are buggy, too. But this is like, for like a PvP game like this... it is probably the most buggy, fully released game.
There's a lot of fucking bugs in this game. No icons, fake icons, FOV bug, all kinds of weapon camo bugs still, like weapon unlock bugs.
You could play the game for 10 minutes and run into a pretty big bug, yeah.
Oh, you can't play for 10 minutes without running into a pretty big bug.
I could pull up any Warzone video on YouTube right now, someone's 10-minute video, and watch it, and there will be some sort of like major bug in that video. It's so common.
So again, to go back to a point I've been making for a very long time, the existence of a QA team at Infinity Ward is a psyop. It's just not true. They don't have one. There's no way this gets released. There's just no way. It's not possible. And again, the running joke yesterday was blaming Bobby Kotick for every bug in the game. Oh, it's Bobby Kotick's fault. And one of the arguments I saw, because we released a fire fucking little short video, YouTube short. It's on our Twitter as well. Go like it. It's getting so much traction. Some might say it's going viral already.
That's what we're saying.
And some of the one of the replies was like, well, on one of these videos, I put it everywhere, was, well, you could still blame the executives because they're forcing the devs to like do things too quickly or whatever.
For game launches, yeah.
Yeah, like they're forcing season 3 to come out sooner than it should have or whatever. And if it was only up to the devs, they would have delayed it or whatever. I mean, there's definitely some truth to that, but that doesn't excuse the state of this game. And I have 2 pieces of evidence for that. Vanguard was never this buggy. Cold War was never this buggy. MW 2019 was. So, at times. So it really is Infinity Ward. They don't have a QA team there. There were bugs in Cold War, there were bugs in Vanguard, sure. Not as many as MW 19 had. There's probably still a Field Upgrade Pro bug that was in since beta in MW 2019. The last time I played it, it was still there. I mean... And
it was only for KBAM players, right? I think it was KBAM specific,
yes. It was either KBAM PC or that combo specific, but yes. The IDub games, MW 19 and 22, are far buggier than BO4 or Cold War or Vanguard. Far buggier. So if the exec pressure is ruining iDub games, that would also be true for the other two development studios, which it obviously isn't. And also, again, I love the precision airstrike example because it's so perfect. It's not like the guy was so rushed, he didn't have time to move it 2 inches instead of 2 centimeters.
Yeah.
He already took the time to move the banner. So it would have taken an equal amount of time to move it the correct amount or the incorrect amount. And he chose the incorrect amount. So even if he was rushed and he had to move the kill streak banner before he wanted to, well, he sat down and took the time to do it. So that doesn't stand. He just didn't move it enough because Activision devs do not play their own game. And Infinity Ward is the worst development studio at Activision, easily. And maybe in the history of first-person shooter games. Terrible. So you can't blame the executives, especially in the kill streak thing, where you moved it, but you didn't move it enough. I just can't believe that happened. I can't believe it's possible. But they did. And you can't blame literally anyone else except Infinity Ward. You can't. You can maybe say it's not that dev's fault, or rather, it is that dev's fault, but you should blame Joe Seacott for hiring this incompetent fucking ape. And I would say fair. You could maybe argue that. Because that person shouldn't have been hired, obviously. I mean, there's no way you hire someone who is that incompetent. And that's not like, oh, I was tired that day, so I accidentally only moved the kill streak banner 2 centimeters. No, I don't accept that. Kill yourself. It doesn't make any sense in game, of course. It doesn't make any sense. So fuck Infinity Ward. The QA team's a psyop, and you can't blame Bobby Kotick for everything.
Yeah, that's a really good point that I kind of never thought about, is they all blame the execs right now when the Infinity Ward game is dog shit. But yet, when like a Treyarch game comes out, they praise the devs like, "Oh my god, this game is like perfect!" Like they saved the game. But it's like the execs are just as involved in all of the games, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's
the
studios and it's the people working at the studios. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, just brain dead takes everywhere, of course.
Yeah.
Moving on here, another one with the loadout drops. I haven't experienced this yet, but this is a very big bug. They may have actually already fixed it. I don't know. But guns are invisible if you grab your loadout drop, and that gun is a like a blueprint. I don't use blueprints for like any of my guns, so I've never seen this issue yet, but it happens all the time. When I was playing that one match of Random's Resurgence, they were complaining about that. The guy was like, "I just got my loadout. I don't have my guns. I don't have guns." Someone in our YouTube chat already said it. People in Discord were saying it. I saw it all over Twitter. So it's extremely common. And I think it happens almost every time you use a blueprint gun. So that's happening. Remove the blueprint, use the base gun. Again, they may, probably by the time you're hearing this on Monday, it may be hot fixed, possibly. But that's a fun and exciting bug, too, that's been in the game.
Yeah, which is actually not merely cosmetic, because I use what my gun looks like to determine, like, am I done sprinting out yet?
Yeah.
Or, am I done sliding yet? Or whatever. Like, it's actually important information to have. Hey, it turns out it's important to be able to see your fucking gun in an FPS game, yeah. So, yeah, it's not just cool. Like, this isn't nitpicky, in other words.
Next thing up, when was it they added that precision airstrike timer? Season 2 Reloaded?
2 Reloaded, yeah.
Well, guess what? It's just gone. It is simply gone. We tried this 2 or 3 times. Someone called an airstrike. Raz tried to call it. He's like, "Oh, won't let me call it." So I pulled mine up, and I'm pressing on the button. I get no timer, no nothing. That was on Ma's Resurgence. It again happened on Ashika. Tried calling an airstrike. Said it wouldn't allow me to, and there's no timer. So they added a timer in Season 2 Reloaded, and it's gone. They removed it. Cool.
Yeah. Really very cool.
Not that the timer mattered, but I'm just trying to prove the absolute incompetence of the team working on this video game.
Right.
It's just gone.
Yeah. And they didn't say anything about it. So whether it was intentional or not, once again speaks to how incompetent and unfit to be gainfully employed Infinity Ward is. They either accidentally removed it, and how does that happen? Or they did it on purpose and then just didn't tell us. How does that happen either?
Yeah.
In either case, firebomb their office in a video game, obviously.
Yeah.
So anyway.
This is probably the worst thing so far. The servers on Al Mazrah are unplayable, I think is the best way to put it. Actually unplayable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this doesn't seem to be an issue on Ashika, but Al Mazrah, constant stuttering. The ping is fake right now. It's telling you 0 or 1 ping. So if you see that and you think you're getting a good connection, you aren't. It is bugged. Mine was showing constantly 0 when I was playing. It seems to me the Activision servers just somehow, I don't know what happened at some point during Verdansk and then going into Caldera, they're incapable of handling 150 players. And I've been saying this since they dropped the Caldera player counts to 120 because they said it was for the pacing of the game. It wasn't, and I said it then. It's because their servers are dog shit somehow and they can't handle it. Right. They would have 100% already dropped Al Mazrah to 120 by now if the game wasn't already incredibly slow. Like, incredibly slow. So I don't know if server issues will get fixed anytime soon, but I can assure you, once there are gulag tokens, redeploy tokens everywhere, we have balloons every 50 meters, Raven's gonna say, oh, let's drop this to 120 players to help with the pacing, and guess what? All of the server issues will be gone. I don't know what happened. And the leakers were trying to tell us early on that Warzone 2 is going to handle 200 players. Ha 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 ha. Fuck you. I can't believe there's something seriously messed up. This is the worst they've been. Dying around corners. It's like when you play like a DayZ game or a shit game like that where it's stuttering. Like you're somewhere, you're running, then all of a sudden you are like 5 to 10 feet back where you were running through the same door again. And then you watch the kill cam of some guy killing you and you're all studying around on your screen. He's moving around on his screen. Awful, awful servers. They've been very bad, and it seems to be only on Al Mazrah, which, it makes you think it has to be the player count. And it was always fine on Verdansk, right? Like, what happened with the game that they can't handle it anymore? We never had server issues the first year of Warzone 1.
I think you're right. I think one of the things Warzone 1 did well, and this is like one of the very few things Infinity Ward usually does the best job of, and I've said this before, and I think Tanner agrees, is the like netcode hit reg.
Hit reg is usually solid,
is always the best in IDub games.
And Treyarch is always the
worst in Treyarch games, where you're dying around corners, or bullets are like just going through people or whatever.
Sniping hitbox is 3 times the size of your body or something,
Yeah, that too, but right now and that for most up until season 3, I feel like that was still kind of true. Like the hit reg felt pretty good. It still does feel fine in multiplayer, unless you're doing a custom lobby. It's a disaster. I mean, watching in slow motion kill cams, bullets just going through people and not doing damage. It's very weird. And every time I died in customs last night, that's why. Every single
Esports
time.
ready, by the way. Warzone ready for World Series of Warzone. Fuck you.
Yeah, dude, ranked Warzone, holy shit.
They have to be pushing back the ranked date, right? There's no way it's going to be ready by season 3 Reloaded. There's no fucking way.
They must.
God, no wonder they haven't dropped
they're required to. They're going to have to convince Bobby Kotick that they'll make more money by delaying it than just releasing it now and getting the players back. Because everything's Bobby's fault. The servers are miserable. I died behind corners a lot yesterday on Moz. And really bad hit reg in our custom lobbies for like everyone too. It wasn't just me. I thought it was just me, and then I said something, and then I think Tanner and some other people were like, hit reg is not good.
Well, I thought it was just me because I always host the customs usually, and my hit reg has always been fine. But everyone else was like, no, the hit reg is really bad right now. So I don't know.
Unless it was something like the private lobbies hit reg was quite good before season 3.
That's what everyone said, that it was a lot better than MW 2019. Maybe it's something weird based on since you live in the middle of nowhere now. Maybe it's putting us to a different server, or I don't know.
I think it's the game, honestly, because I've hosted before.
Yeah, I guess you have it. Yeah, you have at times. I've done it mostly recently, but you have hosted, Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the dog shit game then,
It's the devs, yeah. But yeah, servers are not good. And then yeah, there's a lot of stuttering happening. So that's two things. So my performance, like my game's performance, the game performance of the application, the executable file, was far worse post season 3 than prior. That is for two reasons. One is the servers. So yeah, another server issue we were getting besides desync, like dying behind corners and shit, was massive stutters. Like there's like micro stuttering and shit, and usually that's the application. It's not like the server. It's like client side, not server side. But there were times where it was like a full second and a half where everyone's game just freezes and then like it comes back on.
Yeah.
Like a massive hiccup. That was happening every single game of Moz at least once. So that was cool. And in addition, the application itself, terrible. Client side performance, far worse for everyone I've talked to.
Yeah.
I normally get 130, 140 frames in general on Moz. I was getting no more than 110 yesterday. Like, and I was mostly at like 100 flat, sometimes dipping into the 90s. By the way, I have a 9900K CPU, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 3090. My computer can absolutely run a video game perfectly fine, except Season 3 Al Mazrah, I guess. Terrible performance, a lot of micro stutters, and that was one thing that we praised Warzone 2 for. In fact, before Season 3, my performance is really good, actually. No stuttering ever. Pretty constant frame rate. Looked decent enough. I was like really impressed with the performance of the game prior to this patch, and it just nosedove. And that happened a lot in Warzone 1 when iDub was in charge. A new patch would come out. Sometimes it would increase performance, sometimes it would decrease it. But the general trend was better performance. Like Warzone 1 on its last day performed way better than on launch. Like they did like a lot of iterative like optimizing or whatever. And they haven't now, and that kind of worries me. I wonder, with all the shit they need to do, where in the list of priorities is like a good frame rate, no hitching, good optimization? I don't know. But the performance is so bad that it like impeded me from wanting to play. Besides all the other issues, of course. But like, and then we would play multiplayer or Ashika Island and it was fine. It's like, oh, I don't want to play this like buggy, stuttering mess when I can just go play on Ashika or some shit. So it's really bad. Way worse than it's ever been. Like by far, for sure.
Yeah, these are the lowest average frames I've seen. Not only in Warzone 2, but Warzone period. Warzone 1, I got way more frames on average than I ever have in this game. And these are my lowest. I would get up into like, I usually be around like the 120s, but being low 100s to 110 was happening often. I don't know if that's just because it was Resurgence. I never played regular full map Al Mazrah BR since the update. Maybe it's Resurgence, a small area, a bunch of players. I don't know. But you would think not, since there aren't any AI on the map, which were also causing a bunch of frame drops when you go in those areas. So I don't know what it is. But yeah, for me, by far the lowest average frame rate I've seen since Warzone launched, period. Yeah, super unfun. I mean, I used to
like
be
20
pissed.
or 30 frames for me.
Yeah,
it got worse.
I used to be pissed in Caldera if I got like below like 170, 160. I was like, why are my frames so low? Because it'd usually be like 200 plus. This game just has always been fucking terrible in terms of performance. And then also something again that won't matter for most people. Something, the mouse input is laggy and delayed, and it will never be fixed because 5% of the player base is on keyboard and mouse. Here's what you want to do.
Input delay exists for controller also. I wish
that's what people say,
night.
but that's what people have said. I saw Strafe or Huskers. I think it was Huskers had tweeted something, and he's like, they really just don't want you to play keyboard and mouse in this game. Like the mouse input is fucking terrible in Warzone 2. And I saw Repul's reply to it, and he's like, it's not just you, brother. It's that way on controller as well. It's like something's wrong with the game. But to me, controller always feels like it has delay. That's how it's always been. But I've never owned a Scuff. I don't know if those nicer ones get it. Yeah, it probably is. But it's more noticeable when you're physically moving something and it's not moving at the same speed and it's laggy versus
it's
pressing
also way more punishing.
Yeah, versus pressing a analog stick and it feels delayed. So
you don't have aim assist, so like you don't need. So if there's input delay, you'll still track as soon as they jump the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's way worse for KBAM if there's input. If the input delay is equal on both, that's still way bigger of a penalty for keyboard and mouse. Yeah.
And I've noticed it before at times, but recently, because I've been playing a lot of other video games, play any other video game installed on your PC. It actually doesn't even have to be a first-person shooter, I don't think. Launch Warzone right after you get off that game. The first 3 or 4 minutes, you'll be like, holy shit, yeah, there is a heavy mouse delay in this game. And people have always complained about that with Battlefield 2042. I think it was something to do with input delay. They've supposedly done some fixes since then, but I'll tell you, when I play Battlefield, it feels so much better than even this game feels. You go play that and then hop back on Warzone, immediately noticeable. The Super Sweats, the KBAM Super Sweats have been complaining about this since the launch of Warzone 2. I've noticed it from time to time, but it feels very bad since Season 3 has launched.
I did not notice any real input lag prior to this season, but now it's giga obvious. It feels like I actually checked my monitor refresh rate.
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought happened. Like, oh, maybe it just reset my refresh rate to like 60. That's what it feels like.
Dude, what if that's actually what's wrong with the game? What if there's something on the server side, on the game side of it, where it's like people are basically hard stuck at 60 hertz for your mouse input or something weird? Because the game, you can tell it's not on 60 hertz because it looks like it's not. The refresh rate is fine, but it's like the mouse is like locked at 60 hertz or something. It is.
I wouldn't be surprised, actually. I would not be surprised.
Yep.
So yeah, it's fucking miserable. But anyway, there are almost, excuse me, why am I saying that? There are absolutely more bugs than that. A lot more.
Oh, this is what we experienced in an hour and a half. Yeah.
This is just what we experience and remember from our time playing yesterday.
Yeah. If I had written everything down yesterday, we would have been talking about this another hour.
I would say this. On the basis of the bugs alone, El Mazrah for me is unplayable right now.
Yeah.
Just because of the bugginess. Not to mention all the other problems. But I would rather play everything else before Maz right now.
I agree.
Even though I like normally Big Map BR. Because it's extra buggy. It's all buggy. Maz is extra buggy. Really bad. Ranked Warzone, by the way. Coming soon, by the way. So, boy,
50-player server is coming for it.
I'm very, I'm very curious to see how they handle this fucking situation. But now we're going to move on to another bug. Go ahead.
On that note, real quick, talking about ranked, I had said maybe the Black Helicopters is in Season 2. They were letting cheaters run wild in multiplayer rank to be able to ban them. This morning, I saw 2 tweets from like CDL players or former CDL pros that are like, Crimson and above in ranked is already unplayable again. Like there is a cheater and there's like one cheater in every single lobby. So yeah, Warzone ranked is probably going to be the same way, but a lot worse because it's free to play.
Exactly.
Unless they make it so you have to pay for the full game to play ranked, which I would be totally okay with, but they probably won't do that.
Yeah, they won't do that. They'll release 8 pay to win Warzone skins instead.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, "See, we're still free to play, guys." Yeah. I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate them. Yeah. So, next section very briefly is movement changes. So, yeah, they supposedly changed the slide and dolphin dive thing. So here were the changes they had mentioned in regard to movement. I don't know if they said they sped up the slide or they elongated the slide. One of those two things.
I don't know if they even said. I think they
did.
I don't think they said the specific, did they? Sliding speed slightly increased is all it says.
Okay. Yeah. And then the other movement change that they mentioned in the patch notes was the fire delay coming out of a dolphin dive has been reduced.
Correct.
So you can start shooting sooner after a dolphin dive. So here's what I think about these movement changes. The dolphin dive thing doesn't matter because if there's any delay at all, then you're going to die trying to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if I have to shoot right out of a dolphin dive, you might as well make it a 3-second timer, because if there's going to be any timer at all, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
So I can't tell if they reduce that delay, but it doesn't matter. You either remove the delay and just have the delay be a delay to being able to start ADSing again. So at least I can hip fire, but then I have a delay on whether I can, or on when I can ADS. I think that's a good way to handle this. Because it's not hard to pull a trigger. I mean, I've never shot a gun before, but if I really wanted to, I'm sure I could dolphin dive while fucking shooting my gun. Just wouldn't be very accurate. So anyway, so didn't notice that and don't care. And it doesn't matter. And then the sliding thing, I will say this. I did notice the slide does feel faster. It's not much faster. And if I can't shoot while sliding, it doesn't matter anyway. Yeah. I could slide 1,000% faster than you do now. Still wouldn't do it though, because I can't shoot my gun while I'm doing it. So It just doesn't matter how quickly you slide. So I think people saying they literally didn't notice the slide is faster. Okay, relax. There's plenty of valid, accurate criticism to levy at Infinity Ward without making shit up. So let's not ruin our cause by just telling lies. You can notice the slide's faster. It's not that much faster, but it's noticeably faster as far as I'm concerned. And the best way we were able to tell this, which Tanner pointed out, and as soon as he said it, I realized it, is that in custom lobbies, this movement change has not yet taken effect.
That's what it seemed like, right?
I think you're right.
The slide seemed a little bit slower in customs, which
it seems like pre-season.
Which sounds like we're just capping and like making something up, but this has been the way for a long time in COD private lobbies. Updates just don't get pushed through to private lobbies sometimes. It like takes longer for some reason. They'll actually
I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, they'll actually be totally different. This has been that was an issue in MW19. It's been an issue throughout this game. It's been an issue for CDL players trying to scrim. There have been specific custom lobby only issues. So it is a thing. We're not just like making something up because we're thinking it's not noticeable. It is a thing. The most notable example I can think of that many of you would probably be familiar with is in custom Warzone lobbies, the timer to revive your teammate was like twice as long as it was in pubs for 9 months or so. No,
like,
it was
so long.
It was longer than that.
That was one of them.
Yeah. Yep. I think they finally fixed that towards the end of Caldera.
They did end up fixing it, yes.
But yeah, like the first couple of Warzone tournaments we did that were like Rebirth, and the revive time so much longer. People are like, why is it longer? I don't know. The custom lobbies are different than private matches for some reason. It's always been that way.
How that's possible again, but yeah. So yeah, I think that change just hasn't affected private lobbies, but that's not that big of a deal. The point is, the movement change, whatever the devs said on that call, they really overhyped what we ended up getting, because we did not get a base increase to movement speed. Being able to slide slightly faster, I'll take it. I like the current slide better than the old one, but it doesn't matter again, because if you can't shoot your gun while you're sliding, you're just not going to do it anyway. You're going to get punished just as hard now as you did before, so it doesn't matter. And then the dolphin dive fire delay thing super doesn't matter. So, the movement changes are completely irrelevant to how you actually play the game.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. It is noticeable slightly. Although I will say the average player that doesn't know anything about patch notes and play the game, you won't notice a difference. You really won't. But the people that play a lot, you guys listening to this pod because you play the game, you'll notice it. But there are 100% people that would never be able to tell a difference. That's how small it is.
Yeah, for sure.
So, sure, it's faster. It's better than what it was, but you summed it up. It makes no difference at all in the gameplay of the actual video game and how I treat situations and play certain ways. I'm not suddenly going to start sliding around corners now that I didn't before, because it wasn't that big of a difference, and I'm not going to start dolphin diving more than I used to because it hardly makes a difference.
Right.
Sliding is still almost entirely useless, and dolphin diving only remains useful for like getting away from people. Honestly, dolphin diving's main usage, primary usage, is jumping. Is jumping off a roof, dolphin diving off a roof, and then pulling your chute so you go further and you stay higher in the air. That is its primary usage.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
For sure.
If you're doing it to reset attack sprint, which some people still do, don't, because it doesn't make it any faster. Because you're then on the ground, stuck on the ground. You have to get. But you do. Yeah, we tested it early on. Jake and I did. So yeah. Cool. It's better, but it's actually like what we had said on Thursday. J God said it's like 20% of where it needs to be. That sums it up. Yeah. Better, but not nearly enough to make any sort of difference in how the game plays.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the sliding speed is actually like a red herring. Like, if you could shoot while sliding right now, I would be okay with the slide speed, actually. It's not like fucking stem sliding on Rebirth Island or anything, but it's fine. But I'm never going to do it because you can't shoot while you're doing it. You're fucking yourself. So like, they can make it as fast as they want. It won't matter if you can't shoot while you're doing it, because it's way too punishing if you can't. So yeah, anyway, those don't matter. Moving on to the guns and weapon balance. So one of the patch notes that we were very confused by was with regard to weapon balance. They buffed the raw LMG if you're using it in semi-auto. And we, perhaps naively, kind of clowned the devs for this. We were like, why the fuck are you guys changing how an LMG works in semi-auto? It has a 100 round mag by default, or box mag. This doesn't matter at all. And I'm never going to use a raw in semi-auto, obviously. But then we got on Ashika Island, and Tanner was like, you know what? Maybe they're onto something. I'm going to try this. So he had his raw set up. He put it in semi-auto, and he was just fucking around with it in the pregame lobby. And much to no one's fucking surprise, it's completely unplayably terrible. Of course. I don't know why they made this change. There is an open bolt delay on the raw, in addition to a weird fire rate delay when you put it in semi-auto. So you can't fire it quickly because there's an open bolt delay. So it's far worse in semi-auto than full auto because it's a belt-fed light machine gun. Who would have fucking thought? And I just want to remind you guys that they made this change, which is completely insane. So don't try the raw in semi-auto. It's not good. In case that was a question for you, hey, here's your answer. It fucking sucks. Shocker. Can't believe they made that change. But yeah, we've confirmed it's terrible. As anyone with two brain cells to rub together could have told you.
Yeah, really, I don't know why they would even think to make this change. I'm not sure what they were doing.
Completely out of their minds.
And then it's like, you usually have more recoil on the first shot. That's where the RAL was good. It would fire like 6 or 8 shots, and it would have a decent amount of recoil. And then after that, it really wouldn't move. It would kind of bounce around side to side. So when you fire in single shot, pretty sure the way it works is you're always getting that first shot recoil. So you always have a ton of recoil. There's an open bolt delay, and there's a capped fire rate. Why did we even make this change?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing? It's
completely outrageous.
It's just such a waste of their time. Yeah.
Yeah. This is what. Yeah. Right. Next is the laser change. So they said they brightened the lasers, and we were kind of upset about this because the lasers were definitely visible before season 3.
We complained about them being too bright before, because they were.
Yeah. And you know, what's really awesome is they lie on so many patch notes, and this is one they didn't lie on. The lasers are definitely fucking brighter now. Insanely bright. Surface of the sun bright. And when we were doing gunfight customs, the devs fucking love putting lasers on every single gunfight weapon. So it just ruined gunfight also, because I would have the hipfire laser on half my fucking guns in gunfight, and it was clearly visible to everyone at all times, and you didn't have to. You could be old and see it, as we demonstrated in our Damascus Hangout, because all of you are old as shit. So you can't even like push people because the laser just gives you away. It's way brighter now for no reason. No one asked for this. No one needed it. And now you just get punished even more for pushing if you're like running a hipfire build or using it as a sprint-to-fire laser. And it also does punish holding angles if you use the aim down sight laser attachment. However, most people do not tend to run that because there are better ADS attachments to use. So yeah, that doesn't matter as much, but it really ruins the sprint to fire laser. So
exactly, it ruins the hipfire builds that we have. So it's like,
yes.
Thanks, you made hipfire builds slightly better. ADS now. Yeah, they made the hipfire slightly better in like season 2 reloaded, so people started using it, and now they actually, the laser's probably twice as visible as it was before. It's like it looks like a fucking long lightsaber, a long green lightsaber.
It's like a lightsaber, actually. Yeah. It's insane.
It's very, very thick. Yeah, just so stupid. So that ruins hipfire builds because this was happening all the time in gunfight. As you said, you just see someone's laser. So it's like, oh, all right, I know this guy's sitting here. I'll just pre-fire the corner. So that makes all your hipfire builds in Warzone worse. If you're just holding an angle, aiming through the door with your laser, you're just going to die. So you have to then, like you said, either aim at the wall so they don't see it coming through, and then once they come around the corner, adjust and start shooting them, try to hit them.
It's harder. Yeah.
Or you have to just ADS with your hipfire build. So terrible, dumb, stupid change, and I hate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot. I'm still using the hipfire MP5, which needed a nerf and was nerfed, by the way. How'd they nerf it? They reduced the headshot damage. I played a lot of Ashika Island yesterday. I used the MP5 hipfire exclusively. Guess what?
You never hit a headshot.
Exactly the same, and I'm just dunking on kids just like I used to be. Very easily.
Yeah.
It's still really fucking broken, and far and away the best SMG in the game. In fact, I was really working kids with it. But anyway, yeah, when I was using this, because it does have a laser on it, it's a hipfire build after all, I had to like start ADS walking around buildings when I didn't need to before, because I didn't want my laser to be showing and giving me away. So yeah, just like really pissed on that build.
Yeah,
just for no. And again, the thing that's most annoying is it's for no reason. Why'd they do this? It's not like the lasers were invisible before. You still had to think about your laser beforehand. It just wasn't so obvious that as soon as you accidentally aim at the wall once, you're given away for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
They for sure saw it every time. Before it was like, if they're paying attention, they'll notice, but maybe not necessarily.
Yeah, changes like that and the single shot RAL change just makes me like really, really wonder who is bringing these ideas up and what the theory is behind them as to why they want to make these changes. Like, who thought, let's make the lasers a lot brighter? Did you think your hipfire guns fucking suck as they are? There's one usable hipfire build in the game.
Yeah.
Like, why do you need to punish them even more? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's a great question. But anyway, next thing, this is actually a positive note. The handling changes they made. So a lot of the attachments for like every barrel, every extended mag, and I think maybe one other category of attachment, but even those two alone are big. If you run an extended mag, for example, on a gun, it makes your like movement speed slower, your aim down sight speed slower, maybe some other penalty. And they reduced the penalties of those. So the 50 round mag on the MP5, for example, it still makes you move slower than not running that. And it still makes you aim down sight slower than not running that. But the penalties are lessened and it is noticeable. I was moving faster with my MP5 build than I was before Season 3. And maybe I was ADSing a bit faster with my ARs and shit too. That was less obvious for me, but it was quite noticeable on my MP5. The like handling in general felt pretty good, and I didn't change anything. So it was a result of the penalties being kind of lessened for a lot of the attachments, which I think was a good change, because it's not like they're overpowered or anything. This was one of the very few things they did, I think, pretty well. It's not like you don't take a penalty at all. You should take some penalty, and you do. But it's not like completely fucking cumbersome anymore. So I think that's actually pretty good. Did you notice this at all?
Not directly, because I didn't use any of my old builds I had. I used snipers, I was using the M4, and I was using the same Hipfire MP5 I've been using. So it was hard to compare. I thought about trying the ISO, but I was liking the M4, so I just stuck with that. I'm sure the ISO feels better now, though, because that was my biggest gripe with it, was how slow the handling was.
The handling, yeah.
Slow ADS and slow reload. Yeah, it didn't feel very good. So I'm sure it feels a lot better now.
Yeah.
Next up here, the Cronin Squall, which is the new gun, the new battle rifle. Actually seems really good from the few times I grabbed just a ground loot one of it. Comes with default 20 round mag. It's like basically like a TAC V. I've heard it has like one of the fastest theoretical time to kills for all the fully automatic guns or something like that. Didn't look too much into it.
Does it default to full auto?
Yeah. It's a battle rifle.
Nice.
So it's like the TAC V.
Okay.
Pretty much equivalent to. And I think you can also put a 50 round mag on it. It's either a 40 or 50 round extended. So I think that could be a good one to run. Not sure how it is at range, but I will definitely.
Recoil? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only used like the default one that's just iron sights and stuff. So I am going to level that up in multiplayer, and I'll get back to you on that. But it seems promising. Would probably be a good Ashika gun combined with a really fast SMG build for like aggressive players, I bet. Because it probably hits really hard up close. Because that's how the TAC V is. It still hits hard up close, but it's like not good at really medium or long ranges. So it's probably similar to that.
Yeah, I actually haven't found one yet. I heard you guys talking about it. You and Jake said it feels good. And I've seen other people saying it feels good as well, which is cool. Surprising, frankly. I did not expect it to be good, but I think I was mixing it up with the marksman rifle category. I don't remember, but yeah, that's cool if it's good. I don't know if it's overpowered. It didn't seem that way because I didn't die to it very much, but maybe a bunch of people just haven't unlocked it yet. I have not unlocked it yet, but that's the first thing I'm going for in my battle pass tiers. If I can figure out if I remember, I should have written a guide for myself. Yeah. If I remember how to navigate the battle pass tiers and all that shit, that will be the next thing I work toward. That's my intention. Yeah. But I don't know if I have enough brain power to be able to figure it out. So maybe I'll never use it. I don't know. But that's my intention, is to unlock that soon and try it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Just go to that battle pass menu, hit R, on the drop down, hit buy tokens. When you hit that button,
let me write this down because it doesn't tell me to press R. So
when you hit the buy tier skips, it'll then tell you to sign the user agreement. So you have to scroll to the bottom of that, accept the user agreement. Then it's going to say restart the game to confirm the user agreement, relaunch it. Then there is a playlist update. So you're going to have to relaunch the game again. It's going to force update. Battle.net has an update. So you're going to have to restart Battle.net, launch that again, open up the battle pass menu again, press R, go to buy tier skips, enter your credit card info, then you should be able to buy one. Yeah. So just do that. Should be pretty quick, seamless. Very streamlined. Yeah. Next up here, I didn't try the intervention. By the way. Very streamlined. I did not try the intervention. It's going to be good. It's a one-shot sniper out of the 3 that are in the game, along with the Victus and MCPR. I will say, I think the intervention has a much better default optic. That is my biggest gripe with the MCPR, is its default optic. Not the best.
It is the bezel that's better, or the zoom, or the reticle?
The reticle. So the MCPR has like the big red dot in the middle, which is a little too big, makes it, I think, a little harder hitting headshots at ranges because it like blocks their head. Yeah. The intervention is a standard straight line, vertical, horizontal. I don't think there's even dots on it anywhere. Super simple, so I like that. The downside is it has a mag size of 5. And the reload times for how slow they are in this game, that's the best thing about the MCPR, is having the 10-round mag to keep firing off. Even though it's bolt action, you want to be able to reload that quickly. So Yeah, I'll use it for sure. I'll try it. I think most people are still saying the MCPR feels better overall, but I think
Interesting.
people also think the intervention has higher velocity. I don't know if anyone has put out numbers on these yet. The game certainly hasn't. Infinity Ward hasn't. They don't know. So we will get back to you on that. But yeah, I haven't used it. Really.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how it compares. I'm more interested in its comparison to the Victus, which was like the season 1 added gun. I have that maxed, and Orion. I have Orion, by the way. The weapon camo, the mastery camo, which I regret getting, frankly. This game. But that's like the Victus. If you put a long barrel and a muzzle on it, the gun is, I'm not kidding, a foot longer than your operator is tall.
Yeah.
It's a minimum 6 foot 6 inch long gun.
Yeah.
Minimum. Maybe 7 feet. So that would imply it's got a lot of fucking velocity, which is actually really important for a Warzone sniper in this game, because you have to run explosive ammo, which ruins your velocity, in addition to denying you the opportunity to run high velocity rounds. So I think the best one-shot sniper is going to basically only be whichever of the three has the most velocity.
Yep.
Base velocity, basically.
That's probably right, yeah.
Yeah, so when it comes to the intervention, yeah, first of all, the intervention, don't you like the gun that we had for you guys in the game that we actually like fixed bugs for, MW2, 15 years ago? No, don't. I don't care. You didn't even call it the intervention, first of all. I don't care. I don't feel nostalgic. It feels nothing like the MW2 intervention, nor should it, by the way. And it doesn't matter at all. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just another bolt-action sniper rifle. And I don't care to unlock it. I'm not excited. I'm not interested. And the only way I will use it is if it's better in Warzone than the other two options. And it's that simple.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you got excited about the intervention before the game launched, when everyone was leaking that, as I said at that time, I'll reiterate that again. End your own life in a video game. Same with the ACR. Oh, the ACR is back. Why do you care? Doesn't matter at all. How does it feel? It's in a whole new game. It's a new ecosystem. Doesn't matter. You're never getting the MW2 ACR back unless you play MW2 again.
Dude.
So, anyway.
They do have the numbers. Holy fuck. These are terrible. The velocity.
Game data or something?
Sim has all of them up.
Okay.
With the longest barrel and the velocity, the longest suppressor, yeah, to give the most velocity. With the explosive ammo you have to use to one shot down. The Victus, 640 meters per second velocity. MCPR, 687. The Intervention, 711. So they're all fucking awful.
Yeah,
and the
really
difference
bad.
between almost 690 and 710, not going to be noticeable. So I think you do just use the MCPR for more ammo.
Interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
There could be differences in bullet drop too, because one thing that was really annoying and cringe in Warzone 1 is that bullet drop for snipers was not necessarily tied to bullet velocity, which makes almost no sense to me, but I'm not a physicist. But there could be in Warzone 1 a sniper that has more bullet velocity, but also more bullet drop per 100 meters. So the bullet would get there faster than another gun, but the bullet would also drop more in that time. I don't know how that makes sense. I don't do physics, so maybe it does.
Yeah, so
but that's it's possible that in Warzone 2 you might prefer the one with 20 meters per second less velocity if it has less bullet drop. I don't know though.
Yeah. So the Intervention has the least amount of bullet drop of the three. The Victus has the most. It's so weird.
Does the website have that?
Victus has the most velocity until you put on the explosive rounds, and then it has the least amount of velocity of all of them.
Got it. That makes sense.
What are they fucking doing? Yeah. So Victus has the most drop. So Intervention, basically you set it to like 100, or I'll set it to 300 meters. 'Cause that's what's default. So at
So
300
the website
meters,
shows bullet drop.
yeah, at 300 meters, the intervention drops like 2.1 meters. It says, and the MCPR is 2.35 meters, so not a big difference. And then the Victus is like 2.9.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe the intervention would be the best. And least amount of bullet drop, slightly better velocity, a better optic. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It sounds that way to me. Yeah. But they're all fairly similar, I would say. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the default reticle and bezel, just the default optic in general actually matters a lot, because we had this really cool quality of life feature in Warzone 1, which they decided not to bring back among dozens, where you could change your reticle before, and now you can't. So hopefully you like the default optic on the new good sniper. Otherwise, get fucked, I guess. I don't know. Can't change it though. You can change the whole ass optic itself, but now you're losing another attachment slot. You can't just change the reticle. So cool.
Well, this
cool
is the 2.0
game.
variant of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the updated, streamlined 2.0 version of Warzone. Yeah. I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate them. So anyway.
Moving on.
I guess you should unlock the intervention though.
Yeah. Moving on. The M4 is feeling really juicy. That's one of the meta ARs now. It does have, so the M4 has the longest first damage range of any AR, it appears. Longer by like 4 or 5 meters. You're getting that first damage range. So I think that's why it felt so good on Ashika itself. Yeah. So that's what I was using. Low recoil, good mobility, and an excellent reload speed. All of those things compared to the ISO. I guess the reload is similar to the ISO. It just feels different because it's a higher fire rate. So you think it would be bouncing around more, but it really still feels the same as the lower fire rate ISO. So I was liking it a lot. We'll probably get a lot more involved in that when we do like a brainstorm for a Patreon this month. We'll pull up the charts, get into it. We'll try a lot of those. But for now, on paper, the M4, I had a lot of fun using it. I keep talking about the ISO, how much I didn't like it, even though it was the meta AR. I don't like it. M4, I actually really enjoy using. So I think the first game I used it, I dropped like a 16 on Ashika, and I was at 15 or 16, and we like died fairly early too. I think there were still like 5 or 6 teams left, and we died. Could have dropped it easy 20 with the M4.
I remember you commenting that. Yeah.
I didn't realize, like, I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, I tried the M4 once you were hyping it up, and it felt fine to me. It definitely has more recoil than an ISO, but so does everything. That's not to say that it's like too much or anything. But one of the questions I asked, I was like, why are you trying the M4? Like, they didn't even touch it. So the M4 was not changed at all, really, other than every attachment was changed. So the attachments you run changed. So that's one thing that changed about it. But also, other things got nerfed. So relative to all the other ARs and LMGs, the M4 did get better because it wasn't nerfed, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's why Tanner had been saying a couple people are using the M4 now after like the further ISO nerfs or whatever. So maybe something to try.
I was trying to find the chart. I'd seen it. Somebody tweeted the chart of time. Oh, here it is. Looks like.
Can you look up the STB if it's updated?
Okay, so Warzone Loadout posted a sim chart of some ARs. So STB, ISO, TAC, and M4. M4 has the longest first damage range. Its first damage range is out to like 38 meters.
That's fucking insane, actually.
So I guess it doesn't have the longest one. The TAC has a longer first damage range, but the time to kill at that range is like maybe 100 milliseconds slower. So the M4 has a second fastest time to kill and the second longest damage range by a lot. So it's really good on paper. Its damage drop-offs aren't... Yeah, it's really good all around. Here, I can send you this tweet if you want to look at it.
Yeah.
I'll just post it in chat there if anyone wants to see it.
Yeah, post it in chat. I wonder if this is post-Season 3 stats.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Sim is all updated.
So this is the buffed STB then?
It should be, yes.
Yeah. So the STB, I tried that as well because it got like pretty well, I don't know how much it got buffed by, but a lot of different things were buffed. They said it got buffed in a lot of different areas. I don't know if they changed the damage by 0.01 or by 10. I don't know. But I tried it as a result. And it felt not great. I don't know. I tried it on Maz. I tried it on Ashika. It felt fine. Like, felt okay. But I was trying a lot of different, like, attachments and shit also. And I haven't tried that many other ARs, so I don't know how it feels in comparison, but it didn't feel like it was... It's certainly not like a fucking RPK was pre-nerf or anything. Like, it's not insane. But it might be fine now. And now I'm looking at the data here. And the STB does, of those four, the STB, Hemlock, TAC-56, and M4, the STB does kill the fastest inside of 22 meters. But that's a very short first damage range.
And that's not a big difference compared to the M4 there. That's maybe, what, 20 milliseconds faster if you hit every shot?
Exactly. That would explain why the M4 is just unequivocally better on Ashika Island, I think. But that first damage range matters way less on, like, Maz if you're still playing that. And to that effect... STB looks like it could be pretty good on Maz, because its second damage drop-off isn't until 40 meters, and it kills faster than most guns up till there, besides the M4. So maybe the M4 is just better. Because another thing with the M4, too, reloads very quickly.
Very quickly.
The 60-round mag reloads very quickly, which is really nice. So... on paper, STB looks decent. It looks usable. There might be some advantages to using it over an M4, but not really. I'd rather run the M4 on the island, and I'd also rather run it on Maz, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know how much I would like the M4 on Maz, but...
well, over an STB, really, I mean...
yeah, I think at this point, as unfun as sniping is, which I'll get into in a second here, I'm just using sniping and like an SMG on Maz.
Yeah,
now.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, why don't you tell us about sniping? I'm gonna get some water, but I'll be back shortly.
Yeah. One-shot sniping is back, as I said. It's the Victus, MCPR, and the Intervention. Unfortunately, it feels unrewarding and unsatisfying in this game. The way the explosive rounds work, I don't know if it was just because we were playing Al Mazrah, and as we were saying, the servers were awful. But even with the incendiary rounds, when they were bugged for 3 days and you would headshot someone, you'd see the crack and then you'd see that they were like burning, the little icon, and then they'd be down. I swear to God, that felt faster to one-shot down someone than if you hit someone in the head with the explosive rounds, which is the way to one-shot in this game. You equip the explosive rounds. The velocity on these snipers is just so low that it is so boring to play with. Like that was, you could think snipers are overpowered on Warzone 1. That was the most satisfying thing, though. Someone running straight across trying to slide cancel 250 meters away or something. You pull up your Swiss, you fire one shot, the velocity is like 1800, it immediately connects and the guy's down. That was fun and rewarding. Was it annoying to die to? Sure, but that was fun. This game, it's just the opposite. And I think honestly, the explosive rounds feel like explosive like bolts from a crossbow or something. It feels like it hits the guy and it's like a mini Semtex and then it explodes a number of milliseconds later, a couple hundred milliseconds. Something. I don't know. Does not feel good at all though. Again, this could be worse compounded because of the server issue on Al Mazrah right now, but it felt like dog shit. And then the other thing is with these snipers, I think it actually takes 3 chest shots if you don't hit a headshot, which is also dumb. Make it a headshot and 2 chest shots, because one guy, I got 2 hit markers on. No, I got 3 hit markers on him somehow. Like, I don't even know how that happens. I don't know if he played up once during that, if he had tempered and plated, but he was like running in the open, running away from me, and I must have hit him like once in the leg or something. I don't know. But I'm like, dude, 3 hit markers with the heaviest sniper in the game with explosive ammo. Why?
Yeah.
Why is that the case, man? It's so unsatisfying. So yes, one-shot sniping is it the worst possible iteration of it they could have made? Absolutely, and of course it's Infinity Ward we're working with here. So it feels fucking awful. Yeah. That being said, I'm still glad one-shot snipers are in. I'm going to use them because it will probably still feel better than ARs do on Al Mazrah to me at long range. So I'll play with it some more. I didn't use it for very long. I'll try the intervention and whatnot, but that was just using the MCPR. So I'm pretty disappointed in the way they added them in. I mean, seriously, just make it one shot with regular ammo at any distance with these heavy snipers or something, or make it so they one shot up to, I don't know, 100 meters. Just do anything else than the way they did it. Super boring to play with now. It's just a huge, like, how is that even a letdown? How are they incapable of doing anything correctly?
Yeah, I know. It's like I said about the, when we talked about it last in the patch notes, it's like, I'm glad one-shot sniping is in, but like, this is probably the worst possible way they could have added it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, shocker it is. I have not tried sniping yet. I didn't set one up. I should have tried it. I meant to, but I just kept forgetting, I guess. I was tinkering a lot with my STB, and then I was trying the M4. And then I just was done at some point. Because the game's not good or fun. Get a lot of gas mask dog shit bugs too. Or not bugs, but just mechanics. Like the gas mask working as intended, but the way it's intended to work is fucking terrible. So that's another just step backward from Warzone 1, which is really cool. And then I think that happened once again, and then I said, okay, I'm done. I'm getting off. I've had enough. Because the game is just not fun. We'll get into that in a second. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited to try sniping, but you are not the only person I've heard say that there's like the delay. I don't think that's related to the server. I think, like you said, maybe it's compounded by the server issues, but I think even if the servers were perfect, there's a weird delay between landing the shot, getting the hit marker, and then also getting the down. Because like the explosion has to happen or something, which is deeply unsatisfying for the monkey brain. So that's stupid. And it's also just dumb. Like, you need explosive ammo. I don't know. I don't know why they don't just do it the way they did it in Caldera, where a couple snipers can one shot at any range. And then most of them can't, but they can one shot at different damage ranges. And that's how you balance them. And then you kind of go from there. And snipers were perfectly balanced in Warzone 1.
Yeah.
You weren't going to get fucking one tapped at 600 meters to a Car 98. It wasn't possible anymore. That was broken in Warzone 1, but by Caldera, they fixed it. And if you got one tapped at 600 meters with a ZRG, hey, that guy deserves to down you. Exactly. It wasn't easy to do that. And you don't need to add explosive ammo to make this. It's just so dumb. So yeah, I don't know. I'm glad we have them back, but it's certainly not enough to get me back on Moz.
No, and I was very hopeful for the one-shot snipers. I really thought it was going to be fun. By the time I played like 2 matches with it, I was like, okay, well, I'm ready to go to just a Sheikah and play that instead and not snipe at all. So extremely unsatisfying. Again, I don't think they understand what snipers did for their game in Warzone 1. All of the good clips you saw, the exciting clips, like all of them were with snipers, and they have none of that now. There's nothing exciting about the game in terms of having gameplay clips.
Yeah, not great. So anyway. All right, so now we're going to move on to multiplayer and then Warzone, Moz plus Ashika. We've already talked about all of these things, obviously, because you use guns in those game modes, but these are things that are like particular and specific to each. So we're going to start with multiplayer. And we did get some new game modes, or some returning game modes, one of which was Gunfight. And there are 4 maps. We played all of them. As I said at the beginning of the episode, we played quite a lot of Gunfight, actually, in customs. So we didn't do 2v2, to be fair. But we experienced all the maps a lot, and we got a feel for how the game mode would work in 2v2. Gunfight is implemented pretty much the exact same way as it was in MW 2019. You have health. It shows the total team health at the top. The UI is the same. The mechanic is the same. The The round length is the same. The overtime flag exists. All the rule set is like identical to MW 2019, which I think is a good thing because the rules didn't need to be changed at all. The gunfight like system was fine in MW 2019. A couple differences though. One difference is that, again, there is a laser on every single random gunfight gun you get, which is very annoying because that is going to make people camp if they see your laser and know you're coming, you know, like way sooner than before they would hear you, which they wouldn't hear you anyway in this game. So real campy, lasers on every gun. Don't know why. Take them off or make them less bright or both. And then another difference was the maps, unlike MW 2019, and this is one area, I don't give MW 2019 enough credit on this topic, but terrible maps, maybe the worst maps of any COD game by and large in general. However, not in gunfight. The gunfight maps for MW 2019 were very good. There were 2 dog shit ones. One of them was giga dog shit. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a couple acres and it was a hill.
On 19,
was,
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was deeply forested and not good at all. But besides that map and another forest one, which wasn't nearly as bad, but still wasn't great, the gunfight maps were really fucking good in MW 2019.
Yeah.
Speedball, awesome. King, awesome. A couple other ones that I don't remember the name of, but the gunfight maps were very, very, very well designed in that game. Not in this game though. One of them is shipment. So that's awful. Obviously for gunfight, especially it's like an identical version of the multiplayer map. So there's a million little barrels to run behind, sea cans to rat in. Not good or fun or interesting, but that's not a surprise. Let's see. Let me pull up the maps here. Another one is the new well, hold on. Let me just go in order. Okay. Alley is another one. This is a new gunfight map. This is probably the worst one. I don't know if this is worse than shipment, but this is only in gunfight and it's really bad. Deeply vertical. There are 3 stories, 3 different vertical levels on a gunfight map. Why? Terrible.
It's mini Ramaza, yeah, but worse.
But far worse, yeah. So it's awful. So shipment's bad. Alley is awful. Exhibit is another new one. Exhibit's okay. It's a little big. It's a lot big for 2v2 gunfight, if I'm being honest. But it's not offensive to me. I think it's a decent enough gunfight map.
Exhibit was decent, yeah.
Yeah. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's serviceable. And then Black Site, which is also the new Gulag experience on Al Mazrah. This was also decent, I would say. Not great, not terrible. Certainly no Speedball or King, though.
No.
So overall, there are only 4 gunfight maps. 2 of them are a hard pass. So, kind of like Ground War, it's an otherwise good game mode that kind of just got ruined by terrible maps.
Exactly. I agree.
And that's why we stopped playing it when we did. I would have kept playing far longer if the maps were good, but they aren't.
Yeah.
So,
and, you know, it's like you're saying with the guns, it's nice having the lasers for ADS time, but you know people are coming then. And then it does make you sit in a corner and ADS so your laser doesn't show up and then you just rat that way. Also, the loadouts were very weird. I do not remember this to be the case in MW19. Maybe I'm just not remembering correctly, but like often you would have 2 primary guns in gunfight. It was weird. Like you would have like a fucking sniper and a shotgun, or like an LMG and a shotgun, or an AR and the shotgun. You always had like 2 primary guns, which I wasn't really a fan of. I honestly like more guns with like no attachments, maybe an optic on it, and then like nothing as a secondary, a pistol as a secondary, which there were some of those, but a lot of weird loadouts.
Yeah, weird loadouts, true.
Yeah. So like, for example, like you were saying with the maps, I agree. Shipment, I don't even count it as a map anymore. I'm sick of seeing Shipment ever. Shipment, dog shit.
That's not good, yeah.
What was the other one? Oh, the alley one, complete
Alley.
dog shit.
Yeah.
Exhibit, probably the best one, still don't love it. And then the new Gulag map, Black Site, it was fine.
Black Site.
Yeah, that one was cool. I don't know how that would be. No, that one would be good in 2v2, yeah. But so, for example, MW19 launched with these Gulag maps, or with these gunfight maps. Gulag Showers, Hill
Dog shit.
Hill was the dog shit one.
Hill was the miserable one.
Docks, great.
Docks was really fun.
King, amazing. Pine, Speedball,
yeah.
amazing. Stack, amazing and perfect. It launched with all of those.
Yeah.
And then by season 1, we had, let's see, Shipment, which was dog shit. Cargo, wasn't very good. Atrium was fine. It was smaller. And then we continued to get maps. So we got, looks like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. We had 18 gunfight maps by the end of MW19. How many will MW2 have by the end of this game's life cycle?
4.
Probably, like, unironically, at the most, I would say probably 7.
At the most, I would say
we
8,
may get one more per season or something. So that's where we're at. So is Gunfight worth playing in MW19? No, of course not, because there are not enough maps and they are not good enough. If they just had double the amount of maps and they were all just mid, then it would be completely playable. But because 2 of them are so bad and uninteresting and 2 of them are just fine, I'm never playing Gunfight, which really sucks. Which really sucks. Again, Gunfight should have been in the game on launch.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't throw fucking the gunfight mode in. You already have Shipment. You've recreated it 40 times. You can't just launch it with 3 other dog shit little maps. I don't know.
They've made Shipment already for the next 10 Call of Duty titles.
I want Shipment to never be in a Call of Duty again. So badly. It's such a stupid fucking map. It really does.
What it is.
It really does ruin Call of Duty multiplayer, because then that's all people play, and then everything else is just ruined and trash. So fuck Shipment. What else?
Take.
Oh, and the new maps are also miserable. 2 of the worst maps we have in MW2. They're not quite as bad as Border Crossing. But they are actually, the night map is. The night vision map is terrible. Black Gold.
You know what's interesting about the night vision map? I don't think the map's terrible because it's at night.
Exactly.
But I think if that was a daytime map, it could actually be decent. It's hard to tell.
That was my thought.
I can't see.
I 100% agree. It had a good layout. It's like a kind of a longer 3-lane map, and then they ruin it by making it the night map. There's no daytime option. I fucking hate you. I hate you.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, that, and then the other map. Hey, again, it's dark out. Oh, it's raining on both of them, by the way. It's raining.
No, it's not raining on the night vision map.
Then what was the other map it was raining on that we were playing?
Paleo Lighthouse. It was raining on. Was there another one? Maybe it was just a map we've already had. But
maybe it was the Shipment gunfight map. Was it raining on that? That's what I'm thinking.
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because there were 2 comments on the maps we were playing that they had.
One comment I made on the night vision map, which is called Fool's Gold, Black Gold. It's called Black Gold. It's a night vision map, so of course it's bad. But if it was daytime, it maybe is good. It's hard for me to tell. We didn't play it too much, and also it was nighttime. Smile. And you can't aim down sight in the night vision mode, even if you don't have an optic on your gun, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's cool. You do the dumb canted thing as if you have that attachment, except you don't.
Yeah.
So that was fun and exciting. Psych. But that maybe is a good map. Paleo's Lighthouse is the other one. Oh yeah, one of the comments I made on Black Gold is because it's nighttime, like the electricity is off, it's fucking silent.
Yeah,
it's the quietest map
right.
in any COD game ever. And you can actually hear footsteps as a result of that. It was very weird. It was eerie.
Yeah, it was weird.
I was like, holy shit, I'm hearing footsteps?
You hear like
This is
crickets
fucking
and shit
strange.
going off, I think.
Yeah, it's like really quiet because there's no like the humming of like generators or whatever. But yeah, and then Paleo's Lighthouse is just a massive giant map that also has, it doesn't have lanes. It's not a 3-lane or 5-lane map. It's just laneless. It's just a smattering of just shit. It's pretty. Palaeo's Lighthouse is a pretty map. Like, it looks pretty.
Pretty dog
it's
shit.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's aesthetically pleasing to look at. Problem is, I'm trying to play a video game on it, and that's where it's ruined. Far too big, no layout at all. There isn't a layout. There's no flow. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just like a weird hill island thing with like a building sort of in the middle, and then a couple other random ones. Terrible visibility.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, because it's nighttime out and it's raining, so you can't hear either. Really bad. Really shockingly, astoundingly bad. I would actually rather play the night vision map than Lighthouse. It was not fun at all. It had no redeeming qualities from a gameplay perspective. Quite literally none. Black Gold had some redeeming qualities. The map design, it was like 3 lanes, decently sized, appropriately sized, I should say. So that's nice. But Lighthouse has no redeeming qualities. Nothing about it is good. Visibility, audio, layout, size, it's all unacceptable.
Yeah.
So that map is completely terrible. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So 6 has just got a lot worse.
Yep. 2 6s maps added this season. Both not at all good or fun. Yeah.
Not even close. Yeah.
Yep.
Not even close. So that's cool. So great job there. And now moving on to Warzone 2.0, Season 3 edition, Moz/Ashika. So now we're getting into observations we've made that are particular to this experience. First one's the new event. I guess this is in multiplayer also. I haven't played pub's multiplayer yet, so I don't know. One thing I will say, I'm pleased to report, the trophies that people drop when you kill them don't make any noise. So that's nice. And you don't have to interact with it to pick it up. If you just run over it, it auto picks up. Cool. So it's not that obstructive to my gameplay. It's really not a problem. It looks dumb, but it doesn't add to my woes when I'm trying to loot, nor does it make noise. So, okay, fine, whatever. I'd rather it not be in the game still, but it's not a huge impediment like the heroes versus villains things was. However, I don't know how it works. I don't understand how it works. And I read the patch notes. I also read the blog post, and I can read. I'm at least average intelligence, so you would think if they wrote it even somewhat clearly, I would have understood how the event was going to work, but I guess I didn't. So what I thought it was going to be was you collect trophies that gets added to some like out of match inventory of trophies you have. And then whenever you reach certain thresholds, so once you've gotten 100 trophies, you unlock the first weapon charm or sticker or whatever dumb fucking reward that doesn't matter you would get is. And then that would continue until you get 1,000 trophies or whatever. Wrong. There is a new icon on the map in Warzone where you are to deposit the trophies. And I guess the way to earn event rewards for this event is not to collect trophies and by virtue of just playing the game, but I now have to change how I'm trying to win a Warzone match by going to random POIs or objectives icons on the map to deposit trophies for a weapon charm, which I'm never going to do, ever. Because why would I do that? So I have to play worse or alter my play style, which is kind of definitionally playing worse. Go out of my way to collect trophies or deposit trophies mid-match to get out-of-game calling cards that I won't use. So,
but you also won't know how you got a week later.
Nor will I know the reward I got. That's correct. Yes. So the event is just horribly implemented, even if it should have been implemented, which it shouldn't have been. So the event is at least not, again, the trophies don't make noise, so that's good. But I'm never going I'm never going out of my way in Warzone to get progress for an event that I don't care about. So like there's more clutter on my map. And I'll never get event progress. Even if I played 1 million games this season, I would have 0 trophies deposited because I'm not doing it. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Terribly handled.
Yeah, I just personally, I'd never care or even pay attention to these events when they're in the game. Because, yeah, I mean, nothing. I guess you can get an hour of a tier skip and double battle pass XP. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. You get those things in fucking DMZ rewards for extracting with one AI gun that every AI on the map spawns. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you care about the rewards, then sure, it's there. But I don't give a shit about these type of things. So
yeah,
cool.
Exactly. So
next up for me here. So Resurgence Al Mazrah. What is it called? Extreme Resurgence.
Massive resurgence. Yeah.
It's pretty fun and pretty intense. And it would be great if the Al Mazrah servers worked correctly. One thing I definitely noticed, not nearly enough buy stations. I swear the whole circle has like 3 buy stations, so that's cool. So you have to get the free loadout drop. If you can find it, if they don't give you a fake one like they gave me, or if you can press 1 on your keyboard enough time to zoom in and then mark your loadout marker and then show it on the map where it is, you can try, sure. But other than that, it's hard to even get to buy stations because there aren't any. And also, they added the fun balloons to Al Mazrah, and there were 2 of them in the whole Resurgence circle.
Never took one. Yeah,
that's no one ever took them ever because there were 2 of them. Yeah. So.
Yep. We called that, by the way.
Yeah, we haven't played Big Map Moz, but does not seem like the balloons are going to make hardly a difference in how the game plays. That's been the whole thing with this season, right? Everything they've done does not actually make a difference in how the game plays. Their movement changes, some of the weapon balancing a little bit better, but like the balloon changes, none of it is going to change how the game plays at all, I don't think.
Exactly, yeah. They waste a lot of time on things that don't matter, yeah. And don't impact the actual gameplay experience. Like, you might as well not have even changed the fire delay coming out of a dolphin dive, for example. Like, why are we wasting time on this? Either remove the delay or just leave it, because it actually doesn't matter. There's never a situation where I will live because the delay got lessened.
Yeah.
It'll never happen. So, like, why even bother wasting time on it? Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, Resurgence Moz, it was pretty fun, and it was intense, but, I don't know. Yeah, it's just the performance/server issues just made it not worth playing at all. So that's cool. Oh, and there was one time, by the way, one thing that is happening in Massive Resurgence is the balloons. There was one time Jake and I were about to take a balloon, and it started floating away from the circle into the gas. So that was awesome.
They close in the 4th circle, that's why. And that's, I think, about when it was.
Ah, okay. Well, there was another time, too, when the balloon is moving, you can't use it. So Jake and I were running up to it, and I swear to God, it was like a sitcom. As soon as Jake gets next to it, he presses the button to use it, and you see the line just going away, and he's not able to use it. And then we died to gas. Because the circles like move a ton in this mode. So it's more fun than regular Moz, but yeah, I refuse to play Moz until it works, until I'm not stuttering or crashing or FOV bugging, or having invisible guns, etc. So that's cool. And yeah, we did not play regular Almaz BR. I would refuse to. If I died because I had a 2 Mississippi hiccup, which I would, in regular BR, where I don't just instantly respawn, see ya. I'm not doing it. So, yeah, just not happening.
Yeah, I'm a Sheikah main for the time being.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and another thing with Ashika is I think it was yesterday they had told us they tweeted out that there was a hot fix or something to add more buy stations to Ashika. I think, what did they add? An extra 4, 5? Something like that. It was noticeable. There were more buy stations. Are they still spread out poorly? Yeah, for sure. But there are more, so it's less noticeable. So sure, there will still be 4 of them at port, but since there are more on the map, we are still more likely to get one at the POI that we want to land at and have a buy station there more often. So that was a noticeable change for the better. I still think they need to just be static on Ashika. And I still actually think we need a few more. But it's better than what it was, for sure. And we had fun playing Ashika. Because, yeah, I don't think you should waste your time playing big map Al Mazrah right now. With the servers the way they are, yeah. Like, imagine actually spending 20 minutes running around, not getting very many kills, getting to, like, end game, and you just die to a one-shot sniper, and on your screen you're in the middle of a stutter, and then you watch the kill cam, and you're dying not at all where you were. I wouldn't play it if I were you. I would just stay away from it. Ashika's playing well right now. I would stick to that. That's what I'm going to do for the time being.
I agree. We did have fun playing Ashika, and everything that was fun about Ashika was not a consequence of anything that happened in Season 3. Like, Ashika was fun yesterday, but not because of some change that we got in Season 3. It's just because Ashika was fun also before Season 3. Like, the patch didn't matter. It had no impact on Ashika Island. And that's why it was still fun, basically. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was cool. But it felt like the same experience as prior to Season 3. So,
they should make a cranked resurgence. That is an amazing...
Did
we ever have that in Warzone 1? Did we have anything like that?
I don't believe we did. That's a great idea.
I thought there was something that increased movement speed.
Maybe there was. I don't know. But I don't remember it.
Oh my god, that would be so fucking fun. Mm-hmm. That would actually be ideal. Because cranked is great in multiplayer. We didn't talk about that. Because I'm never going to play just cranked in multiplayer, because multiplayer is not that fun to play. But holy shit, imagine cranked Warzone. Ooh, that would be good.
That would be cool.
More like what Warzone should be, right? Cranked Resurgence should just be Warzone 2, am I right? Fucking dog shit game. Anyways, what else?
The UAV towers that they added to the game.
Cool. Yeah.
These are pretty cool, and they're fairly well done, I think. I need to play more to get a better sense for them, because I'm still not sure about 20 seconds. I feel like that's a little short. But I wouldn't want it to be too much longer either. And we didn't use it that much, but making it cost a nominal fee, 2K, I think is a good idea. And overall, I think there are actually a decent amount of them, but they're not too many. I think so far, my first impression is that the UAV towers in Moz/Ashika have been handled fairly well, but that is not my final stance on this. I need to play more to get a sense for it.
Yeah.
But like, we hit it a couple times and it was cool, and I don't feel like it fucked us over because we didn't have one or someone else got it instead, you know? And it shows the radius too, so you can outplay it. We actually did that once. Someone called it south of us, and I like got out of the little red circle just a little bit. So I think it's pretty well handled, and is a good addition to Warzone in general. So that's cool. That's one thing they did, I think, fairly well. I'd have to play again with it more to see if there should be an additional change, but if there does need to be one, I think it would be fairly minor. So that's cool. Yeah. I will take the UAV towers.
Yep, I agree. They're cool. One thing I will say, Ashika needs to still drastically reduce the spawn rate of counter UAVs. Yes, you can shoot them down easily. They don't take a lot to shoot. But it's like, if I'm fighting underground or something, or in a building and I'm fighting a team, I don't have time to go out and shoot a counter UAV, even though it takes like 3 or 4 bullets to shoot down. They are everywhere. You are counter UAV like half of the game, early game. Because it's just everyone finds them and starts popping them, and it's really fucking annoying. Because it scrambles everything, so I don't know what anything is on my map. Like, there was
your loadout,
you don't even know where ammo refills are when you're counter UAV. Yeah. Like, holy shit, it's dumb. Get them out of the game, but at the very least, reduce the spawn rate like you did with all the other streaks.
Yeah, that's true too.
But yeah, fuck Al Mazrah. Play Ashika for now and stay humble. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, this update is far worse than I was expecting it to be, which I just can't believe I'm saying. Weapon balance was not very impactful. I mean, I think that there are a couple of like good things they did. The penalties on like long barrels and extended mags, good change. UAV towers, good change. I mean, what? That's it? Oh yeah, one-shot snipers.
Yeah.
Implemented in the worst possible
the
way.
most boring, unsatisfying way you could do it. Yep.
Cool. Like, I don't know. It's just, especially again for how hyped up this patch was. Even if this, here's what I'll say. If there was no hype for this patch and there was no developer call and those streamers didn't say, oh, Warzone 2 is back, I would still be disappointed with this patch. Because there aren't enough balloons on fucking Maz or Ashika. The weapon balance was not enough. The attachment changes were cool, but we still need to go further. The movement changes were unimpactful. And the game is far buggier than it's ever been, Warzone 2. It's buggier now than it was on launch, actually. And we're supposedly getting ranked Warzone this season. I just can't believe it, but I can. And again, even if it weren't hyped up, this would be a massive letdown of a season because they promised a lot, even in the blog post, and none of it matters really. So I don't know. I'm as let down, I'm as disappointed as every other Call of Duty player. I'm genuinely curious how Activision handles Season 3. I'm very curious to see what ends up happening prior to Season 4. Are we delaying Season 3 Reloaded? Are we delaying Season 4? Are we delaying Ranked Warzone? How many bugs are we going to fix before we release Ranked Warzone? How is Ranked Warzone going to work? That's still a fairly open question. Because if they just stick to their current timetable, I think they are setting themselves up for a complete and utter catastrophe. Because obviously, the game is not ready for a ranked mode right now. It's never been farther from a ranked mode. Further, in fact. I truly think their performance has never been worse. Client side or server side. And in addition, the weapon balance is still terrible. And there are new bugs. Game-breaking bugs, actually. So, ranked Warzone this season? I don't know. Not a good idea. But Activision's never pushed anything back ever. And the closest they got in the last 5 years was saying they're not going to release a main title this year. Psych. Shareholders got to them. Blame Bobby. Here's where you can blame execs, by the way. Turns out we're not getting that. We're not giving more time to the dev studios, and we're not taking a year off so that we can release a finished product one time, just once, a single time. Not happening. So when is the last time Activision has pushed anything back? I don't remember. But now more than ever, they need to push something back.
Like Season 1 was pushed back 7 days. Like it makes a difference.
Oh,
Season 1 or 2, one of them was delayed by a little bit. But yeah, let's say they fix every single other major issue with the game besides the servers. The bad server performance is enough to completely ruin Ranked Warzone for a lot of people.
Oh, it's
that is going to
really,
really, really ruin it. So, and that's, I don't think, the development teams. That is, Activision is in control of the servers, I would assume. And I don't know what it is. They don't want to put money into it. I don't know what the problem is with the servers. It'd be great to talk to someone who knows a lot about this and try to figure out why they're so bad or why they think they're the way they are.
Activision, yeah.
So,
just haven't bought enough or good ones or whatever.
I don't know, because again, they were fine in Verdansk. They were always fine. And then it just took a shit
Halfway through Caldera, it went up and down. It was bad. It was never great. Be slightly better. And then Warzone, it was okay at time, or Warzone 2. I guess it really has never been okay. But a lot of the issues early on that you kind of think were server issues maybe were also just people's game crashing.
Just the application, yeah.
Yeah. And then now, I mean, just stuttering, huge performance issues. So yeah, I don't know how they launch a ranked mode at all with that. So
Yeah.
this is, I guess, why they've never launched a ranked mode. Yeah, because the game's never been in a good enough state for it, I guess.
I don't know what's going to happen now. So I'm very curious to see. I think no matter what, it's going to be interesting. If they somehow pull it out on their timetable, then that's going to be a case study in how a development studio fired every employee they have, rehired all new ones, and then also trained them faster than any person's ever been trained before. That's the only way it gets released.
Maybe AI can do the update.
Yeah, maybe ChatGPT could develop the game. They do a better job, almost certainly. So I don't know. Either it's going to be a miraculous comeback and we stay on the same timetable, or it's going to be a disaster and we stay on the same timetable, which I think is the most likely scenario. Or they delay it enough, and then it's at least not buggy, although weapon balance will still be bad if they release it with a delay. And then also they could do something like Tanner said, like a 1 week delay, where they're like, okay, we need to at least fix the servers, and then we're releasing ranked, even though there's no loadout icon and there's fake news loadout icons and there's invisible guns.
Fake loadout icons, yeah.
Those are fine as long as the servers are okay. So we're going to wait 7 days. I think actually that's the most likely scenario. I think we get a slight delay to ranked Warzone that doesn't give them nearly enough time to fix the game. And then people will correctly lose their fucking minds. And that I don't know if Warzone recovers from. It could be done if Warzone 2 enters into a state where it's fun, balanced, and largely bug-free. It would recover because it still has the Call of Duty name. People would come back. People want the game to succeed. We are two of them. But that isn't up for debate. What's up for debate, of course, is will they? Are they capable? And I genuinely don't know. So we'll fucking see. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back next week. Patreon.com/thedropshot. We need your support now more than ever. If you want more details on that, stay tuned for our behind the scenes episode this month. Yeah, next week's gonna look fairly normal in terms of our regular schedule. Have some Patreon eps coming out later in the week, I would imagine. But we actually got a mid-season update pretty early in the month, so that's good. Unfortunately, it's the season I would like to play least, so that's cool. Because my game will crash. My game crashed, in fact. Update requires restart. Stay humble.
Stay humble.